and welcome to Down the Vent. My name's Joe, and today we're taking a look at the gladiatorial deck building game Carthage from SAS Creative. Let's check out how it's played. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at how to play Carthage. Here we have a 2-player game set up, ready to go. Each player has a player board with their starting health at 15 and their starting favor at 0. We have the theater deck shuffled and ready to go here. And then we have the action deck here. This is where you'll purchase new actions to use later in the game using the favor that you build up each round. So each round, the game is played over 3 phases. So each round consists of doing these 3 phases. So the first phase of each round is to draw a theater card and play it. So it is called Helpless Moments, and it just says arena tokens cannot be activated. So normally you could step on these tokens out on the board, and then they either give you like +1 movement, +1 armor, +1 favor, or allow you to do damage to someone that's adjacent to you. But for this round, they will not be able to be activated, so we'll just ignore them. You can flip them over if you want, but that's probably not the best because normally they get flipped over if you do use them, and then they turn back over later in the game. So next we move on to the action phase. So players will draw 5 cards from their deck, and then they'll take turns playing them one at a time. So the blue player here is first, so we're going to choose a card out of their hand and play it here. Well, we're pretty far away from our opponent here, so we're going to try to play this card here first. So it's got a +2 and a blue shoe and a +1 and a favor. So the blue shoes are just movement, so I can move 2 spots on the board, 1, 2, and then the favor is gain a favor. So we do a cool little dodge to get into the center of the arena. The crowd goes, they cheer for us, we get some favor, and then we move on to the other player's turn. Okay, so the other player here has the same move, so they're actually going to dodge as well, get in a little bit closer, and then gain a favor as well. So we keep going back and forth until hopefully we can get up close to one another. So blue person will go ahead and play 1, get right there. He doesn't have to worry about being adjacent at this round because it cannot be used to damage you because they're deactivated. And let's say the purple guy is going to try and set up a cool attack for next round. So he's going to use the quick jab, but instead of using it for damage or for favor, he'll actually use it for movement. There's white lines in between these, it's kind of hard to see, but it's kind of like a either or. You can do one of those 3 actions. So he's going to use it to move one more time. So we go back to the blue player's turn, and now it's time to strike. So this card here says do 1 damage, and it's kind of got like a white splotch on it. That means that if this first part happens, then you also get that. So we're going to use slash to do 1 damage to the purple player, which would mean their health goes down to 14, and then blue gains 3 favor for doing that. So that's good because the more favor you have, the more cards you'll be able to buy at the end of the round. So we'll keep going back and forth. We'll let the... Fortunately here, the purple player has the same move, so they're going to go ahead and slash as well. And the blue player will take 1 damage, and then the purple player gains 3 favor as well. And then we keep going back and forth, doing some damage to each other until the round's over. Till that phase is over. Alright, so once everyone's played all their cards, we move on to the favor phase of the round. So, starting with the last player, so the person to the right of the starting player doesn't get to start buying. It's kind of like a catch-up mechanism here. The last player, which would be purple in this case, gets to actually take a favor action first. Okay, you only get 1, you don't get to spend all of your favor on your turn, you only get to take 1 at a time. So they can either take 1 of the 4 on the board or buy a card. Well, what the 4 on the board are here is this one first is become the starting player. Only 1 person per favor phase can take this, and once it's gone, it's pretty much you're going to be the first player next round. So that costs 1 favor. For 2 favor, they can lobby, and then what you do for that is you go through the discard pile of the theater deck, and then you choose one to put it on top. That can be done multiple times, so if you put one on top and then the blue player's like, well, I want to put a different one on top, then that actually goes on top of yours, so it kind of cancels out what you did. The next one is Focus. You play 3 favor, and you can actually remove a card from your discard pile and then place it in the focus pile. So that's kind of how you cull your deck and get less cards and get down to just the ones you really want to play, is by paying 3 favor and then choosing one from your discard pile, and then it goes over here to Focus out of the rest of the game. And then you can evaluate, which is 2 favor. You wipe all the current action cards that are out there and put them into this focus pile discard location, and then you put new ones out, and then you're allowed to buy one of those new ones that came out. And the last thing you can do is buy one of the new cards that's actually out here. So the purple player has 3 favor. So this card actually looks really good because it gives you 1 movement, 1 damage, 1 armor, and 1 favor. So for 3, I'll take that, and it goes into your discard pile. So you don't get the benefits of it until you run out of cards, you have to shuffle your deck, and you start drawing again, and then you have a chance to get that new card. So it doesn't go immediately into your hand or anything like that. So that was what the purple player did. Now the blue player may choose to spend some of their favor. So we'll go ahead and say the blue player wants to burn a card from their hands, or from their discard pile, so they'll spend 3 focus. And they say, you know what? This one with just favor is not that useful. Let's get it out of my deck forever. So that's gone. Then it comes back. The purple player has no favor left, so they have to pass, which means they're completely out of the rest of the round. They can't come back later if something else comes up. And then the purple player's got 2 more left, so he's going to pick up this card here that gives him +1 armor and +3 movement. There we go. So, because no one took first player, the blue player will remain first player, and you start the next round over. You continue doing this, going back and forth, fighting, buying, fighting, buying, fighting, buying, and with the theater cards mixed in there, until one of the players' armor is reduced to 0, which means they have lost, they're dead on the battlefield, and the other player wins the game. That does mean if you're playing with more people that there is some player elimination, so if blue is out, they're out the rest of the game, and they just kind of have to wait until everyone else has died off. Or hopefully it doesn't happen too early in the game because everyone doesn't team up on you. As long as that doesn't happen, normally people die around the same time anyways because everyone's getting hurt. So that is how you play Carthage. Let's go ahead and head up and see what I think about it. Okay, so what do I think about Carthage, the deck building arena combat game? Well, I really enjoyed it. I like deck building games, kind of. I like deck building games when they add a board and something besides just let's build the deck to make points type thing. So this kind of covers that, right? You have board, you have the character you're moving around and fighting with, and then you're also trying to improve your deck to get better moves and things like that. So it's not just, oh, hey, I had the right amount of money to buy it this time. It's, I had the right amount of money to buy something decent, and I have tactics that I can use to fight you better than you can fight me. I like that part. I like that you take turns buying, so someone doesn't get to just use all of their favor and buy all the good cards that you've been waiting for on their first turn. It gives everyone a chance to kind of buy something at least. And then I also like that the player that was the last player to go actually gets to buy first, so that way the first player doesn't just keep getting, go, 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 always get that. And it gives someone else a chance to steal that first player away from them as well. I had a lot of fun with this. I would hesitate playing with like 5 people because if someone gets taken out earlier in the game, they're just sitting, right? There's nothing for them to do because it is player elimination. We played with 4 a couple times, and we actually played the team mode, so it was like 2-on-2. That's the other thing. There's like a ton of variants in this game that you can play. You can even do a co-op versus like a big bad guy that you fight. And if you don't like player elimination, there's ways around that. So we figured, we'll do team mode because if one person dies on the team, it's not going to be long before the other person dies, which actually held true. I think I died in like a round or 2 later. My opponent actually ended up, or we beat both of our opponents. My teammate actually finished it for us, but so that wasn't really an issue for us. Components, cards are good. The tokens are all good. The board is smaller than I wished it would have been, but it's good, and it serves a purpose. I really like that they printed out what the abilities are that you can use your favorite for right on the board, so like I don't have to sit there and flip through the rules. Like, well, yeah, what does that do again? It literally says right on there, pay 2, do this, you're done. The figurines that come with it, the miniatures, are pretty flimsy. They've got really great detail and they look awesome. But first time we played it, the sword of one of my guys actually broke off the first game. But a little super glue, put it back on, no big deal. And anything else with the components? Everything was good. The rule book is like comically large. It's the same size as this box, which is like taller than any other board game box I have. So like reading the rules, I felt like I had like a newspaper I was opening up, like sitting there like a giant scroll. But the rule book was really clear and easy to understand. There was a couple things missing about some of the cards I wish that had been in there. Some of the action cards you buy later on in the game were like, well, how does that work? Did it work that way? We just kind of, if it doesn't make sense, yeah, we'll play it that way type of thing. So, it's just a fun fighting game, so don't take it too seriously, right? Other than that, yeah, I recommend Carthage. It was a lot of fun. If you like deck builders with a twist, what I've kind of dubbed games like this and Trains and some others that do this type of thing, I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Give it a shot. Yeah. Until next time, you've been watching Down the Vent. Thanks. Bye-bye.